You think you know crazy. You think you've seen bad mothers-in-law. But until you've watched a woman mortgage her own soul to replace you with a clone, she groomed for a decade, you haven't seen anything. My husband Arthur was the crown prince of a local real estate empire, and his mother Eleanor was the queen who refused to abdicate. I was the mistake. I was the landscape architect who got dirt under her fingernails while Eleanor wanted a daughter-in-law who wore white gloves and never spoke above a whisper. That daughter-in-law was supposed to be Vanessa. Vanessa was Arthur's high school sweetheart. She was a watercolor artist. She came from the right family. She knew which fork to use for oysters. Even though Arthur broke up with her 6 years ago because she was devoid of any actual personality, Eleanor kept her on the payroll. Literally. Vanessa was the director of aesthetics for the family firm. She had an office next to Arthur's. She had a key to Eleanor's estate. She had a seat at Sunday brunch that was permanently reserved while I had to drag a folding chair over from the patio. For 2 years of marriage, I endured the ghost of Vanessa. Eleanor would look at my hair, which is wild and curly, and sigh. She would say Vanessa used to wear hers in such a sleek chignon. It really highlighted her bone structure. She would look at the dinner I cooked. She would say Vanessa made a saffron risotto that Arthur simply adored. It's a shame you don't have the palate for it. I smiled. I gritted my teeth. I played the long game. I thought if I just loved Arthur enough, he would eventually build a wall. But Arthur is a man who hates conflict. He is a man who would set himself on fire to keep his mother warm. The breaking point wasn't a holiday. It was the groundbreaking ceremony for the new Skyline Tower. The biggest project of Arthur's career. I bought a dress that cost more than my first car. I got my hair blown out straight. I was ready to stand by my husband as the wife of the CEO. When we arrived, Eleanor was already there. And she wasn't alone. Vanessa was standing next to her wearing a dress that matched Arthur's tie perfectly. A custom silk emerald gown. Eleanor had coordinated their outfits. I was in navy blue. I looked like the assistant. Arthur tried to come to me, but Eleanor gripped his arm. She steered him toward the photographers. She pulled Vanessa in on the other side. She shouted to the press. The dream team is back together. I stood behind the velvet rope. The security guard actually asked to see my ID. That night, Arthur apologized. He said his mother just got carried away. He said Vanessa is like family. He said I was being insecure. He said I needed to understand the optics of the business. I told him the optics looked like he was married to his mother's puppet. We didn't speak for 3 days. Then came the gala. The company's 75th anniversary. This was the night Arthur was supposed to announce me as a partner in the firm. I had earned it. I had redesigned the entire landscape portfolio. I had saved them millions. I walked in with my head high. The ballroom was gold and glass. Eleanor was on stage holding a microphone. She looked like a predator who had just spotted a wounded gazelle. She called for silence. She said she had a surprise announcement. A legacy announcement. She waved her hand and Vanessa walked onto the stage. But she wasn't alone. She was holding the hand of a toddler. A little boy with messy blonde hair and Arthur's exact nose. The room went silent. Eleanor beamed. She said tonight we celebrate not just the past but the future. We welcome the true heir to the empire. We welcome little William, Arthur's son. I felt the air leave the room. I looked at Arthur. He was white. He was shaking. He looked like he was seeing a ghost. Vanessa took the microphone. She wiped a single tear. She said she had kept William a secret for 3 years because she didn't want to complicate Arthur's life. But Eleanor had convinced her that family comes first. She said Arthur, and she had one night, one mistake right before he met me. And now it was time for William to take his rightful place. The crowd erupted. They loved it. The secret son. The prodigal father. The reunion. I didn't scream. I didn't run. I walked to the open bar. I ordered a double scotch. I drank it in one swallow. And I watched my husband be destroyed. Arthur swore to me that night he hadn't touched her. He swore on his life. He was crying on our bedroom floor. He said it was impossible. But the math worked. 3 years ago, they were both at a conference in Dubai. I wasn't there. Eleanor was there. Eleanor called the house the next morning. She didn't ask to speak to Arthur. She asked for me. She said, "I know this is hard, dear. But you have to be practical. Arthur has a son, a blood heir. Vanessa is the mother of his child. You are. Well, you are just the landscaping girl." She offered me a check, $500,000, to leave quietly, to let them be a family. I looked at the check. I looked at Arthur, who was sitting at the kitchen table with his head in his hands, looking like a man serving a life sentence. I told Eleanor I would think about it. I hung up. I didn't pack my bags. I went to my office. I locked the door. I pulled out my timelines. I pulled out my journals. I pulled out Arthur's medical records. You see, there was something Eleanor didn't know. There was something Arthur didn't know. There was something nobody knew except me and a doctor in Switzerland. 2 years ago, Arthur and I tried to get pregnant. We failed. We went for testing. The fertility clinic ran every test on me. I was fine. Then they ran tests on Arthur. The doctor called me. He couldn't get a hold of Arthur. He told me the results. Arthur had a condition. A childhood fever that had calcified certain ducts. He was sterile. Completely. He had been sterile since he was 12. I never told Arthur. He was so stressed with the merger. He was so obsessed with his masculinity and his legacy. I wanted to wait for the right time. I wanted to protect him. I put the file in my safe and I told him we just needed to keep trying. But now that silence was my weapon. I called a meeting. Not a family dinner. A board meeting. I told Eleanor I was ready to sign the divorce papers. I told her I accepted the buyout. But I wanted to do it at the company headquarters. I wanted it official. Eleanor agreed. She thought she had won. She thought she had broken me. We sat in the glass boardroom. Eleanor sat at the head of the table. Vanessa sat next to her with the toddler on her lap. The boy was cute. He really did look like Arthur. But lots of blonde boys look alike. Arthur sat across from them. He wouldn't look at me. Eleanor slid the check across the table. She slid the divorce papers. She said, "Sign here. And here. And then you can go back to playing in the dirt." Vanessa smiled. That same pitying smile she had given me for 2 years. She said, "Don't worry, Arthur, and I will take good care of the house." I always thought the garden needed more roses. I picked up the pen. I twirled it. I said, "There is just one thing. One tiny administrative detail before I accept this generous offer." Eleanor sighed. She checked her watch. She said, "Make it quick." I said, "Since William is being named the heir to the company trust fund, which is worth about $40 million, we need to verify the lineage. Just for the insurance auditors. Standard procedure." Eleanor laughed. She said, "We don't need a test. Look at him. He is Arthur made over. Vanessa has sworn an affidavit." I said, "Affidavits are nice. But biology is better." I opened my briefcase. I pulled out the file from the Swiss clinic. I slid it across the table to the company lawyer. I said, "This is a certified medical report from DTAR. Weber. Dated 2 years ago. It confirms that Arthur has a zoospermia. He has a 0 sperm count. He has had 0 sperm count since puberty." The room went dead silent. The kind of silence where you can hear the air conditioning humming. Arthur's head snapped up. He looked at me. He looked at the file. He looked at the lawyer. The lawyer read the paper. His face went pale. He looked at Eleanor. He said, "Mrs. Sterling, if this report is accurate, Arthur cannot be the father. Biologically impossible." Eleanor stood up. Her face was turning a shade of purple I had never seen before. She screamed that it was a fake. She screamed that I was lying. I said, let's do a test right now. I brought a kit. I pulled a swab kit out of my bag. Vanessa stood up. She grabbed the kid. She looked at Eleanor. She looked at Arthur. The mask slipped. She said, I told you this wouldn't work. I told you she would find out. Eleanor hissed at her to shut up. But it was too late. Arthur stood up. For the first time in his life, he looked like a king. He looked at his mother. He said, you knew. Vanessa started crying. Not the pretty single-tear crying. Ugly crying. She said Eleanor made her do it. She said the kid was her nephew. Her sister's kid. She said Eleanor promised to pay off her debts. Eleanor promised to make her the wife. Eleanor said, Arthur was too stupid to ask for a test. Arthur looked at his mother. Eleanor didn't apologize. She didn't cry. She slammed her hand on the table. She said, I did it for the legacy. I did it because you married a nobody. I needed an heir and you weren't giving me one. I fixed your problem. Arthur walked over to the table. He picked up the divorce papers. He ripped them in half. He picked up the check. He ripped it in half. He looked at Vanessa. He said, get out. If I ever see you or my son again, I will have you arrested for fraud and extortion. Vanessa ran. She didn't even grab her purse. She dragged that poor confused kid out of the room. Then Arthur looked at his mother. He said you wanted an heir. You wanted a legacy. Congratulations, Mother. You just destroyed it. He fired her. He didn't just ask her to step down. He invoked the mental incapacity clause in the bylaws. He used her outburst. He used the fraud. He stripped her of her board seat. He stripped her of her office. He barred her from the building. He walked over to me. He took my hand. He said, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I looked at him. I saw the man I loved. But I also saw a man who had let me bleed for 2 years before he finally picked up a shield. I didn't sign the papers. But I didn't go home with him that night either. I went to a hotel. I needed time. It's been 6 months. Eleanor is under investigation by the SEC for using company funds to pay Vanessa's hush money. She is alone in that big estate with her portraits and her pride. Arthur and I are in therapy. Heavy therapy. He is learning that love means protection. He is learning that his mother is not a god. We adopted a dog. A big messy rescue that digs holes in the perfectly manicured lawn. Arthur loves him. And yesterday Arthur brought me a new contract. Not a divorce settlement. A partnership agreement. Full partner in the firm. And a deed. He transferred the title of our house solely into my name. He said, build whatever garden you want. I haven't forgiven everything yet. Trust is a slow flower to grow. But the weeds are gone. The ghost is gone. And for the first time, the soil feels ready for something real. Thanks for listening. If you've ever had to burn down a kingdom to save your peace, like and subscribe. I've got more stories about the rebuild coming soon.